Story number 4. I heard that sports influencers is your daddy. Is daddy. Is your daddy. How does that go? But I was thinking about the sports influencers and the regular influencers, and I was thinking, wow, these sports influencers have been doing this influence thing for a while where you just have random characters and they get online, they get on TV, they're at the stadiums talking noise. And it's like, you know what? They kinda wrote the playbook, I think, for a lot of these influencers and how they get around and do their thing. And the story came out because of Deion Sanders. He showed up again, and it got me thinking about it. And I don't know, I sent you the article, and but you probably already knew about it. So tell them what's going on, Theo.
Oh, well, about Dion in general, specifically? So, well, Dion, look, prime time. Look, if you didn't grow up in the '90s, Dion was everywhere. Especially you grew up in Tallahassee, Mr. Bench. I'm sure you knew of him
Mm,
very well because attended Florida State University as the top cornerback, and he was one of those one of the first. Him, Bo Jackson, other folks. He did two sports, right? Pro. He was a football player and a baseball player. So yeah, prime time Dion must be the money, just all that kind of stuff,
yeah.
right? So now he kinda faded away, got older, but then he still had, like, reality show. He was on, ESPN for a little bit. Then he kinda went off and did this something interesting. He, went to become, the head coach of HBCU, Jackson State, and he was like, "I'm gonna turn this program around and make it popular." But he did something very interesting. He knew they had no money to do anything, so he used his own money to film everything. He brought his own son. He was a recruit because they figured the recruits who would come there say, "Hey, you know how to be a superstar? Make me a superstar, right? It don't matter where you play at." So he went to Rinky Dink Jackson State University and made it poppin'. He had Snoop there. He had celebrities showing up. They were balling, and he had all this video. He had like movies. Matter of fact, they had a documentary that they sold to Netflix during this time. Then in the midst of all that, he's only there a couple years, he left. He's "I'm out." And he just because Jackson State wasn't getting the money, nothing was happening, and he went to Colorado State. And there they just as we're filming this, very big controversial, but they were like 2-15 at the time as a football program. He said, "Well, revise them." And he brought his son, who's a top-notch quarterback, but he's able to get all these other recruits because he's Deion Sanders. So now he's trying to do the same playbook he did at Jackson State there at this Colorado. And I'm assuming this is just a stepping stone to it. I think his ultimate goal is probably go back to be a head coach at Florida State, which is a top 15 school in the football
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
So anyway, to your point, he's playing that playbook, man, as an influencer from as a player, from a commentator to now a coach, and it's just changing the game.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. I'm watching this character move from area to area, and he's just taking that bombastic influence, and it got me thinking of figures like Big Boy from Outkast jumping on ESPN all of a sudden, and Lil Wayne jumping on. And it's like you of course, you have musicians taking their musical ability, and then they just pop up somewhere and they're doing stuff. And it's like this whole thing about being able to influence somebody just because of who you are and your personality and where you're coming from. It's now we're starting to see YouTubers taking their YouTube influence, like Mr. Beast, we always talk about, them go somewhere and flex their influential muscles like, "Hey, I'm gonna make some candy bars and whatnot." And it's like, "Okay." We already had what was that guy's name? I forgot his name, but played for the Bengals, but he had like a sports drink, I think, or like
Wow,
a protein bar or something. I forgot.
probably.
But yeah, this playbook has been done before, and I'm just now kinda connecting to it and realizing that, "Oh, okay, you can just kinda start picking up these YouTubers, these characters, and these influencers, and start plopping them in other places and bring all that influence along with them." And,
Well, man,
go
I
ahead.
think you nailed it, man. I mean, I think this is I mean, so you got the sports ones, right? We talk LeBron James, what, 273,000,000, 236,000,000 across all socials, Steph Curry, 53,000,000 on IG. But what's interesting to me is these younger players, man, who in college are getting money, get paid for what they call meal deals, name, image, and likeness. So they're in sports, not like some of them are football and basketball, which is top notch college programs and get a high influence. But you got gymnasts. Have you heard of this one, Olivia Dune? Have you heard of her?
I've heard the name, I think.
7.6 million TikTokers. She's getting $500,000 as a gymnast, amateur gymnast, because she can license her name, image, and likeness and get paid for that. And she has so much influence with that. And there's another guy, he's a vaulter. I can't remember his name now, but he's got the same similar deal. And this is recently came down from Supreme Court. There was a big controversy around cosplayers not getting paid. I think it was Ed O'Bannon.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was a basketball player for UCLA. They used his image for the NCAA basketball game, EA Sports, and he went to the Supreme Court to fight that. And they won, they changed the whole system where now these cosplayers can get compensated in some form or fashion. So yeah, man. The only other thing I just want to bring up here is like you also seeing these. The old school was really sports shock radio. I don't know if you remember that back in the day, right? These guys would get on the radio and just be yelling and screaming about your favorite team, and that was the ultimate influencer. The Lakers suck because Tragic Magic, he can't make a shot. That's what I listened to when I was
I
growing up.
remember that stuff was funny.
And think about that. They had influence, they had charm. And then what you saw is this mix between the radio guys and then the writers. They would go back and forth. And so now you have all these writers who are on ESPN. I mean, you probably heard of Stephen A. Smith, right? He's pretty famous out there. Skip Bayless. They're influencers now, right? And because they have a platform and they have an opinion, they have a hot take. And so it's like, you're right. They're kind of like playing that playbook over and over again that started way back when, from writing to radio, now TV, and now social media. So yeah, and these are regular guys. These ain't like sports guys. Let's be honest. They have talent. They're doing something phenomenal. These are just guys just running their mouth, man, and their thoughts, and now they're influencing. So interesting to see what's happening in the world and how we can take that and apply it to a common. But you also see, and I'll let this go. You see this loop. And now you've seen social media start getting into sports with what's his name, get into fighting, Logan
Logan
Paul.
Paul.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yep.
Life is a
Uh,
circle.
yeah. And I don't drink Prime because I think it tastes funny.
Sure.
Anti plug there. I know a lot of people drink it, so go try it out for yourself.